enough is enough. This is how Israel conducts its assaults through atrocities, because its goal is not security, not the security of those held captive in Gaza, not the security of the Israeli people, but the destruction and displacement of the Palestinian people, even if that means prolonging the conflict indefinitely.
What is the meaning of this humanitarian ceasefire? There's no such a thing. This is one big lie, a whitewashing of the truth. A humanitarian ceasefire means a terrorist-saving ceasefire. We're not stupid.
The Israeli assault is a war against Palestinian civilians, Palestinian children, Palestinian history, Palestine presence, Palestinian existence. It targets the population, the hospitals, the infrastructure, the homes, the bakeries, the landmarks, the historic mosques and churches that stand witness to our diverse and long history. Israel has destroyed and flattened entire neighborhoods, displaced virtually every Palestinian in Gaza, brought back the scenes and memories of the 1948 Nakba with the massacres and the forced transfer of our people. It also targets our present and future, killing engineers and doctors and poets and academics. It also targets those who could document the crimes and inform the world, the journalists. Mr. President, 1 million Palestinian children in Gaza are facing a death sentence that can take effect at any moment. Remember what the Secretary General said: the Gaza Strip is a graveyard of children. No country should be part in issuing such death sentences or accepting to co-sign with the murderers the death certificates for our children. Mr. President, people around the globe have been calling for an immediate humanitarian ceasefire, of course, including the Secretary General and all the leaders of UN humanitarian agencies. The United Nations, through the Secretary General and all its agencies, have been calling for an immediate humanitarian ceasefire. The humanitarian and human rights community have been calling for an immediate humanitarian ceasefire. In the face of such atrocities, there is only one moral position, one defensible position: ceasefire now, ceasefire now, ceasefire now, and stop the genocide. Stop the genocide. Stop the genocide committed against the Palestinian people and their children. And I thank you very much.
Colleagues, I could stand here and repeat the horrifying atrocities committed by Hamas on October 7th, when there was a ceasefire in place that was violated by Hamas's planned massacre. I could discuss the mass rape and mutilation of women, the burning of entire families alive, the beheading of babies. But I have already stood here and showed you footage from that dark day. I have repeatedly discussed the horrors and the bloodshed, but sadly this body prefers to keep its head in the sand. Sadly, this is what the UN has become. So instead of talking about the past, I will try to remind this body of the present and talk about the future. The future that awaits us if the Hamas Nazis are not eliminated. If there's a ceasefire that will allow Hamas to regroup, to rearm, to continue their reign of terror in Gaza. That's the meaning of a ceasefire. This resolution that so many of you sickeningly, I have no other word, applauded, calls for an immediate humanitarian ceasefire. So I must ask you today, what does this mean? What is a humanitarian ceasefire? Is it a ceasefire for 6 hours to allow food and water to enter Gaza? Clearly not, seeing as every single day Israel facilitates the entry of hundreds of tons of food and water. Is it a ceasefire for 3 days so that medical supplies and fuel can enter? The answer is also no, as truckloads of these supplies enter Gaza through Israeli facilitation every day. How about a week-long ceasefire to evacuate wounded civilians? No again. This is already happening on the ground, alongside field hospitals and floating hospital ships. Israel facilitates all these efforts. So I ask again, what is the meaning of this humanitarian ceasefire? There's no such a thing. This is one big lie, a whitewashing of the truth. A humanitarian ceasefire means a terrorist-saving ceasefire. We're not stupid. This resolution only seeks an end to the war against Hamas Nazis. Sorry for the words. You don't give a damn about Israel and our future. An end to the war means turning our backs on the hostages. It means ensuring Hamas's continued rule in Gaza. I don't get it. We're 18 years of oppression in Gaza, by the way, against Palestinians, digging terror tunnels into our soil, into our territory, and indiscriminate rocket fires, thousands and thousands on Israeli civilians. That wasn't enough for you? All a ceasefire secures is a future for the genocidal jihadists. It is only Hamas that this resolution is defending. Stop hiding your intentions behind your suits and diplomatic wording. Humanitarian ceasefire. This resolution has a distorted agenda. At least make this clear to all member states. This resolution aims to keep Hamas in power, period.